The terms psychopath and sociopath often appear in the popular culture. They're used to describe individuals who commit terrible acts. People use these words interchangeably. However, there are important differences between them. Understanding these differences is crucial. It helps us comprehend the complex nature of antisocial behavior. These individuals live among us, often undetected. Their actions can cause immense harm and suffering. It is vital to shed light on these distinct personality structures. This knowledge helps professionals and the public alike. Many people feel a chill when they hear these terms. They picture monsters from movies or news headlines. While some individuals with these traits do commit heinous crimes, not all do. Some are con artists, manipulative bosses, or deceitful partners. They may not break the law in dramatic ways. Instead, they exploit and harm people in more subtle, everyday interactions. The damage they inflict is often emotional and psychological. It can be just as devastating as physical violence. Recognizing their patterns is the first step to protection. The study of psychopathy and sociopathy falls under the umbrella of antisocial personality disorder, or ASPD. However, these terms are not official diagnostic labels in the current DSM-5 in the same way. Psychopathy in particular is a construct I have researched extensively. It is often assessed using specific tools like the Psychopathy Checklist Revised, or PCLR. Sociopathy is a term used more broadly. It often implies that social or environmental factors played a larger role in the development of antisocial traits. This essay will explore these distinctions. We will delve into their core characteristics. We will examine how their behaviors differ. We will look at their emotional capacities, or lack thereof. We will also discuss how they form or fail to form relationships. Understanding these differences is not just an academic exercise, it has real-world implications for law enforcement, mental health, and society. It helps us identify, manage, and perhaps even prevent the harm these individuals can cause. My work has focused on understanding the psychopath, a truly disturbing individual. A psychopath is often described as a social predator. They typically exhibit a distinct set of personality traits and behaviors. One core feature is a profound lack of empathy. They cannot truly understand or share the feelings of others. This allows them to inflict pain without remorse. They see other people as objects to be used for their own gain. Their charm can be superficial, but very effective. They are often skilled manipulators. They can mimic emotions they do not feel. This makes them appear normal, even likable. Psychopaths are often believed to be born with a predisposition for these traits. Genetic factors may play a significant role in their development. Their brains may be wired differently. This can affect their ability to process emotions and control impulses. However, they're not always out of control. Many psychopaths are very controlled and calculating. They plan their actions carefully to achieve their goals. They are adept at risk assessment, but only for themselves. They do not care about the risks to others. They possess a grandiose sense of self-worth. They believe they are superior to others. Rules and laws do not apply to them in their view. This arrogance, combined with a lack of conscience, makes them dangerous. They do not learn from punishment in the same way others do. The threat of consequences often fails to deter them. They are focused on their desires and see others as mere instruments. This instrumental view of people is a hallmark of psychopathy. They are masters of deception. Their relationships are shallow and parasitic. They use charm and manipulation to form bonds. These bonds are solely for their benefit. Once a person is no longer useful, the psychopath may discard them coldly. There is no genuine emotional attachment. They are adept at spotting vulnerabilities in others. They use these weaknesses to control and exploit. The psychopath moves through life with a predatory focus. They leave a trail of broken hearts, empty bank accounts, and shattered lives. Their calm demeanor can be incredibly deceptive. The term sociopath is often used to describe individuals whose antisocial behavior is believed to be more a result of environmental factors. This might include a dysfunctional upbringing, trauma, or negative social influences. While they share some traits with psychopaths, like a disregard for societal norms, there are key differences. Sociopaths tend to be more impulsive and erratic in their behavior. They may find it harder to maintain a facade of normalcy for extended periods. Their outbursts and recklessness can make them more conspicuous. Unlike the cool, collected psychopath, a sociopath might experience some degree of empathy and remorse. However, this capacity is often limited or distorted. They might feel guilt over harming someone they have a connection with, albeit a weak one. Yet this guilt is usually not strong enough to prevent future antisocial acts. They struggle to form stable relationships. Their impulsivity and emotional volatility often lead to chaotic personal lives. They might have a history of unstable employment and relationships. They are less able to plan meticulously. Sociopaths are more prone to fits of anger and rage. Their actions are often reactive rather than premeditated. This makes their criminal behavior less organized. They might commit crimes on impulse without careful planning. This can lead to them being caught more easily than a calculating psychopath. Their inability to hold down a job or maintain a stable lifestyle is common. They may live on the fringes of society. Their lives are often marked by instability and a failure to learn from experiences. This is a key difference from the psychopath's often successful navigation of society. While environmental factors are emphasized, this does not mean sociopathy is solely made. There can still be underlying temperamental factors. However, the belief is that negative experiences significantly shape their antisocial patterns. They may have a conscience, albeit a weak or underdeveloped one. They might recognize that their actions are wrong on some level. Yet they struggle to control their impulses or make better choices. Their lives are often a testament to this internal conflict and external chaos. They're often seen as more hot-headed. The behavioral distinctions between psychopaths and sociopaths are quite telling. Psychopaths are often chameleons. They can blend into any social situation. Their charm is disarming and carefully crafted. They study people and know how to reflect what others want to see. This allows them to maintain an appearance of normalcy, even excelling in careers. They can be successful professionals, leaders, or con artists. Their manipulation is subtle and patient. They play the long game. They are less likely to act on a whim if it jeopardizes their larger goals. Sociopaths, on the other hand, tend to be more overtly antisocial. Their impulsivity makes their behavior less predictable. They might have frequent angry outbursts. They may struggle to hold down a job due to their erratic nature and difficulty with authority. Their lies are often less convincing. Their manipulations can be clumsy or transparent. While they can also exploit others, their methods are usually cruder. They are more likely to use threats or intimidation directly. Their lives often appear more chaotic and disorganized to an outside observer. Consider their approach to rules. A psychopath sees rules as inconveniences to be cleverly bypassed. They take a calculated risk if the reward is high enough. They might even create elaborate schemes to defraud systems or individuals. A sociopath is more likely to openly defy rules. Their defiance is often impulsive and not well thought out. They might act out of immediate frustration or desire. This can lead to more frequent, though perhaps less severe, clashes with authority. Their criminal acts are often spontaneous. In social interactions, a psychopath can maintain a cool, detached demeanor even under pressure. They are less likely to become flustered or visibly angry unless it serves a manipulative purpose. A sociopath is more prone to emotional reactivity. They might become agitated or aggressive when challenged. This makes them easier to provoke. Their inability to control these reactions often leads to their downfall. The psychopath is a puppet master. The sociopath is more like a loose cannon, still dangerous but less refined in their destructive patterns. Section 5. The Diagnostic Maze. Identifying antisocial personalities. Diagnosing psychopathy and sociopathy is a complex process. The primary diagnostic manual used by mental health professionals is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or DSM. The DSM-5 includes a diagnosis called Antisocial Personality Disorder, or ASPD. Many individuals who would be labeled psychopaths or sociopaths meet the criteria for ASPD. ASPD criteria focus on a pervasive pattern of disregard for and violation of the rights of others. This pattern begins in childhood or early adolescence and continues into adulthood. It includes behaviors like law-breaking and deceitfulness. However, psychopathy, as I conceptualize it, is a more specific and severe construct than ASPD alone. The Psychopathy Checklist Revised, or PCLR, is a widely used assessment tool for psychopathy in forensic and clinical settings. It assesses a range of interpersonal, affective, and behavioral traits. These include glibness, superficial charm, grandiose sense of self-worth, lack of remorse or guilt, and shallow affect. It also looks at impulsivity and poor behavioral control. A high score on the PCLR indicates a strong presence of psychopathic traits. It requires extensive training to administer and score reliably. The term sociopathy is less formally defined in clinical diagnostics. It's often used to describe individuals whose antisocial behavior seems more reactive to their environment. There isn't a specific checklist for sociopathy in the same way the PCLR exists for psychopathy. Individuals who might be called sociopaths would likely also receive an ASPD diagnosis. The distinction often lies in the perceived etiology, the underlying causes. Is it more innate and characterological or more a result of adverse environmental factors? This distinction guides understanding. It's important to note that these are not labels to be used lightly. A formal diagnosis can only be made by a qualified mental health professional. It involves comprehensive interviews, review of records, and often collateral information from others. Self-diagnosis or diagnosing others based on popular media portrayals is unreliable and unhelpful. The goal of diagnosis is to understand the individual and inform treatment or management strategies. This is particularly vital in the criminal justice system. Accurate assessment is key to risk management. Section 6. The emotional landscape, the void and the volatile. The emotional experiences of psychopaths and sociopaths differ significantly. Psychopaths are characterized by a profound lack of deep emotion. They experience what are often called shallow affects or proto-emotions. They might show flashes of irritation, frustration, or excitement, but these are fleeting. They lack the rich tapestry of emotions that most people experience, such as love, empathy, guilt, or remorse. This emotional poverty allows them to harm others without feeling bad about it. Their understanding of others' emotions is purely cognitive. They know how emotions look, but they don't them. Sociopaths, in contrast, may have a more recognizable, albeit often turbulent, emotional life. They can experience emotions like anger, frustration, and anxiety quite intensely. They might form attachments, though these are often unstable and unhealthy. Some sociopaths may even feel remorse or guilt after wrongdoing, especially if it affects someone they care about. However, these feelings are typically not strong enough to consistently guide their behavior towards prosocial actions. Their emotional responses are often disproportionate to the situation. They can be quick to rage or become defensive. This difference in emotional capacity has significant implications. For a psychopath, feigning emotion is a tool for manipulation. They can cry crocodile tears or profess deep affection if it serves their purpose. Their emotional displays are performances. For a sociopath, emotional outbursts are often genuine, though poorly regulated. Their anger can be explosive and real. Their anxiety can be palpable. This makes them appear less controlled and more obviously disturbed than many psychopaths. Their emotional volatility can be a source of their impulsivity. Consider their reactions to praise or criticism. A psychopath might enjoy praise as it feeds their narcissism, but will likely dismiss criticism with arrogance or feigned indifference. They're not easily wounded emotionally. A sociopath might also crave praise but could react very poorly to criticism. They might become enraged, defensive, or even violent. Their self-esteem, while perhaps inflated, can also be fragile. This emotional reactivity makes them less adept at long-term, subtle manipulation. The psychopath is emotionally barren. The sociopath is emotionally tempestuous. Section 7. Relationships, tools, targets, and superficial ties. When it comes to relationships, psychopaths view other people as objects or resources. They form connections to exploit, manipulate, or control. There is no genuine emotional bond from their side. They are adept at identifying vulnerabilities and using charm to draw people in. Once a person is no longer useful or poses a threat, the psychopath can discard them with chilling indifference. They are incapable of true love, loyalty, or empathy in a relationship. Any appearance of these feelings is a carefully constructed facade. Their partners are often left feeling used and devastated. Sociopaths may have a greater capacity for forming attachments, but these relationships are typically unstable and fraught with difficulty. They might genuinely desire connection, but lack the skills to maintain healthy relationships. Their impulsivity, emotional outbursts, and disregard for rules often lead to conflict and breakups. They might be able to form bonds with a small number of individuals, perhaps family members or a close friend. However, even these relationships are often strained by their behavior. They may feel some loyalty, but it is often inconsistent. Their relationships are marked by drama. The psychopath's approach to relationships is predatory. They select targets based on what they can offer: money, status, sex, or shelter. They are masters of love bombing in the early stages, showering their target with attention and affection. This is designed to create a strong bond quickly, making the target easier to control. Once the target is ensnared, the mask begins to slip, revealing the cold, calculating individual beneath. They do not mourn lost relationships, only lost opportunities or resources. They simply move on to the next target. Sociopaths, while also capable of exploitation, may show more erratic patterns in their relationships. They might be possessive and jealous due to their own insecurities. Their inability to manage emotions can lead to abusive behaviors, both verbal and physical. Unlike the psychopath, who detaches coldly, a sociopath might react with intense anger or distress during a breakup, though this is often self-centered. Their relationships are a roller coaster of highs and lows. While they might cause immense pain, their own lives are also often characterized by relational turmoil and a lack of stable support. Section 8. Criminality, the methodical predator and the reckless offender. The nature of criminal activity often differs between psychopaths and sociopaths. Psychopaths, when they engage in crime, tend to be more calculating and organized. Their crimes are often premeditated and carefully planned to minimize risk and maximize gain. They can be white-collar criminals, con artists, or even violent offenders who meticulously plan their actions. Their lack of empathy and remorse allows them to commit crimes that are particularly cold-blooded or cruel. They are less likely to be caught due to their intelligence, charm, and careful planning. They learn from mistakes to avoid future detection. Sociopaths, on the other hand, are more likely to commit crimes impulsively. Their offenses are often opportunistic and disorganized. They might engage in theft, assault, or vandalism due to a sudden urge or provocation. Their lack of foresight and poor impulse control means they are more likely to be apprehended. They may leave evidence behind or confess readily when confronted. Their criminal careers are often characterized by a long string of arrests for various, often less sophisticated offenses. They are less likely to be the criminal masterminds often portrayed in fiction. The motivation behind their crimes can also differ. For a psychopath, crime is often a means to an end, achieving power, wealth, or sadistic gratification. They are driven by their grandiose self-perception and a belief that they are entitled to take what they want. They can be very versatile in their criminal pursuits. For a sociopath, crime might be a result of frustration, a need for immediate gratification, or a response to a perceived slight. Their crimes are often more reactive and less instrumental. They may not think through the consequences. It is important to remember that not all psychopaths or sociopaths become criminals. Many psychopaths in particular can function in society, sometimes achieving positions of power in business or politics. They use their manipulative traits to succeed without overtly breaking laws. Sociopaths may also avoid serious criminality but struggle with minor offenses or maintaining lawful employment. When they do enter the criminal justice system, the psychopath often presents a greater challenge for rehabilitation due to their core personality structure and lack of genuine remorse or motivation to change. Their risk of reoffending, particularly violently, is often higher. Section 9. Conclusion: understanding the distinction and its importance. In summary, while both psychopaths and sociopaths exhibit antisocial behaviors, they are distinct constructs. The psychopath is often seen as having a more innate, biologically rooted condition. They are characterized by a lack of empathy, shallow emotions, manipulativeness, and a calculating nature. They can be charming and deceptive, often hiding their true selves effectively. Their actions are purposeful and aimed at self-gratification without regard for others. They are the cool, collected predators who plan their moves with precision. They are truly without conscience. The sociopath, conversely, is often viewed as being shaped more by environmental factors such as a traumatic upbringing or negative social influences. They tend to be more impulsive, erratic, and prone to emotional outbursts. While they disregard societal norms, they may possess a limited capacity for empathy or remorse. Their behavior is less organized, and their lives are often more chaotic. They are the more volatile and reckless individuals whose antisocial acts are frequently unplanned and reactive. Their struggles are often more visible than those of a well-masked psychopath. Understanding these differences is not merely an academic exercise. It has profound implications for the criminal justice system, mental health treatment, and societal safety. Accurate assessments, such as using tools like the PCLR for psychopathy, can help in risk management and informing interventions. While true cure for psychopathy is elusive, understanding the condition can help manage the risks they pose. For sociopathy, interventions addressing environmental factors and emotional regulation might offer more hope, though challenges remain significant. Ultimately, both psychopathy and sociopathy represent serious deviations from typical human functioning. They inflict considerable harm on individuals and society. Recognizing the specific patterns associated with each can empower us to better identify these individuals. It can help protect potential victims and inform more effective strategies for dealing with the complex challenges they present. Continued research and public awareness are vital. The shadows they cast are long, but knowledge can illuminate the path to greater understanding and, hopefully, mitigation of their destructive impact.